Welcome back. Oh my goodness, it has been a
Yes,
minute.
sir. It's been a long time.
We just got through the holidays,
The
and
holidays.
we are
Who
the
says
Out
it
of
like that?
Pocket Anime Podcast, and we are back with another special comedy Hashira
It's not. It's really not.
episode.
I mean, it's different. We normally will only do the first episode of a show if the first episode's worth talking about.
And if the
And
anime's big enough,
and if the anime's big enough. And sure enough, Soul Leveling has fucking hit that mark.
Solo Leveling,
Yes,
episode
sir.
1.
Yep,
Wow.
we're just covering one episode on this
Wow.
welcome back.
Didn't you say you're gonna get on a
That's
rant? Hurry up and rant.
oh no,
Come on.
you don't tell me what to do. Now I'm
Hurry up
not
and
doing
rant.
anything. Don't you
Now I'm
fucking
not
tell
gonna
me what
rant.
to do. I will
Now I'm not
stab
gonna
you.
rant.
Anyways, freaking this is the way.
Fair.
I don't know how many other animes need to like take note or take notice or be put on anything, but this is how you start a season.
It's how you get people horny.
This is how you get like so I didn't even have a problem watching this sub. You know
I
what I
didn't.
mean?
Yeah, I didn't.
Like it was just enough dialogue
Just enough. Yeah.
with a good amount of action and a
Great amount
little
of
bit of
action.
storyline sprinkled in there. Just a
Great amount.
little bit of
Great
storyline
amount of storyline, in my opinion.
sprinkled in there.
Great
You know
amount
what
of
I mean?
storyline.
Like it was perfect.
It keeps you on your
Now,
toes, right?
I do have a question for you. Do you think because we talked about this briefly, just that it was a really good episode, and
Mm.
that's what I mean by briefly. That's really all we've said
And
about
this
it.
was highly anticipated.
Highly anticipated. Now, do you believe that other seasons of other shows don't start like this because of the source material or because they're choosing not to?
100% the source material, because you got to think. These guys are thinking.
You got to think. You got a
You got to
responsibility.
think. You got a responsibility. You got
Yeah.
to animate.
Yeah.
No, I think that they are very calculated in regards to where they start and where they finish each season. You have
Right.
to be. You have
But
to be.
I mean, don't you think they could take some liberties and
Liberties.
liberties? I had to make sure I got
Liberties.
it out. I had to make sure I
Jesus.
got it out. All right. But don't you think they could take some and like make the first episode a little more interesting just to like be like, hey, welcome back, motherfuckers?
I mean, I think that they could add more to it, right? So, like, be like, all right, it may not start.
Right.
The very first episode may not, like, the first 10 minutes of that episode may not start very fast, but we have to make it to where we skip some shit, or we make sure that the second half of that first episode is, action packed, if it's an action anime, right?
Right. Well, I mean, cause and then also, don't you think it's possible they could even like grab like or move something that's in the beginning of where they want to start? So let's just say for shits and giggles, just so we have like a talking point. Let's say chapter 50 is where they start season 2, right? So you're starting season 2 at chapter 50. Don't you think it's possible they could just add a little more action in there or pull from the next manga to give it a little more action and
But
then
again,
take some of the storyline and move it to later?
easier said than done, right? I
I mean,
mean,
yeah, we don't know
easier
what
said than
source.
done,
This
because
is
that
a
that
vague
50th
conversation.
chapter is like, is it in the middle of a fight? Is there a fight that's right after it? Is it leading into it? And
Yeah.
that's where I think they nailed
So
it,
that's
right?
why you're thinking source material is the
Is the key. I mean, it's
gotcha.
got to be at least near where they end, and that's why you got to be smart with how many number of episodes you put out in that first season. So we had 12 in the first season, right?
Yeah. I don't know how
And
many this is going to be. I haven't checked. I've done zero research.
but whereas me neither, and whereas for like a MHA is not scared to do 26 episodes. You look at Demon Slayer, the first season, I believe, maybe the second season had 26 episodes or 24.
That was just the first season.
Just the first season,
First
but
season was the
very
only one, the
calculated, right?
unwavering arc. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that goes to show that they're like, we needed to have that 24 to get it going.
Yeah, and I guess
Versus,
that just coincides with your source material stuff
yeah,
because by all accounts I haven't read the manga, but I know a couple people who have. And they say the manga, as far as like mangas overall are concerned, it's a
you
pretty
mean
short run.
manhwa? Because this is Solo Leveling's a manhwa. It's Korean.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm talking specifically like where we talk about like Demon Slayer, how the first season's 25, then
Oh,
it's 12,
you're talking
12,
about
12,
Demon
or
Slayer.
10,
Oh,
8,
okay.
whatever. I'm just saying, like, the source material is short in that one. There's not a
Mm.
ton of it as far as mangas are concerned. So maybe that's why they're able to get away with versus My Hero, which is a much longer run of manga, which is why they have to do 25 episodes a season.
Well, now that we brought up those 3 powerhouses, right? Solo Leveling kinda
Now
creeping up that.
you could take fucking My Hero off of that list
I
of
know, I was gonna say
powerhouses.
now maybe considering the last season, but beforehand, before that last season of disappointment, can we say that Solo Leveling had as much hype as both of those animes did
I would
before
say
their seasons
more.
came out, or
I would say
more?
much more. I would
Why?
say much more because we're
Why would
comparing
you
it
say
to what?
more?
My Hero and
My
Demon
Hero
Slayer?
and Demon Slayer.
Maybe
We're talking
not
about the
Demon
training arc
Slayer.
of Demon Slayer and the
Yeah, yeah,
fucking
the newest
the
seasons,
newest
right.
season of
Yeah.
MHA.
Yeah, I would say definitely MHA because MHA is already like one of the most hated
How
on.
but how
eh,
massive was this season, like,
Right.
in
Everybody was
regards to
like, yeah,
expectations?
it's a war and stuff. It was higher than it had been the last couple. But I would say as far as the solo leveling hype is concerned,
You think it's even more?
it's MHA doesn't come close. I would say Demon Slayer comes closer. I don't know. I think Demon Slayer might have been more just because there was more there's more people who watch Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer
That
is
one
a
is hit
powerhouse
outside of the
anime.
anime circles.
Yeah,
Right. I don't know that Solo Leveling has. It should.
it should. Yeah,
It's
I've been
that
telling
good.
people about it. I don't think it has because I
I don't
asked
think it has
people
either. At least not yet.
who I've meet about anime, and they've a lot of them say they haven't, but they've heard about it that are in the anime scene.
That's also wild.
Yeah, that they haven't watched it, but they've
Yeah.
heard about it.
Cuz like if I'm your friend, I'm not
Yeah,
doing my job as your friend if I'm not telling you to watch Solo Leveling
every other
like
week.
8 times, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm hounding you. Did you watch it yet? Did you watch it yet? I need to talk to you about this, man. Shit's fucking
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Idris is his fucking soldier now, nigga.
yeah, yeah.
He
From
got
where it
shadow
left off in
clones and
season
shit like
one
that.
was insane. I mean, they left off at that. Like, does this nigga have an army now? Like, Jinwoo went
Right.
from a bitch ass nigga
It
in the
was just
very
him telling
beginning
everybody
to
to
now this
rise,
nigga
right?
has an army and he's also better than an S rank. Like, it feels like he's better than an S rank.
Dude, I don't so this is irresponsible. Okay?
he's
This is
already
fucking
he's already fucking Goku God
this
or
is
whatever,
fucking
Goku
irresponsible.
Blue.
Right? So what they do is they have him do something crazy and then he'll just say what rank he thinks he is with no evidence
He'll
to
be like, "Oh,
support
I'm
it
only
at
a
all.
C rank, bitch.
Yeah.
Excuse
Like
me."
he'll throw a staff through a monster and he'll be like, that monster must have been a C rank because I'm only at the level of A rank. Like, do you think that satisfies us? That explains nothing. That's
Nothing.
one man who's clearly more powerful than anybody else in this universe
Right.
saying one thing one time. Like, that's I just there's just so many, and I'm hoping they get into it a little bit more as like the season progresses.
I
But
I
it's like
think
so real quick. So they have like the red gate, right, that they entered in this time,
yeah.
and it was a C rank gate. We already set the rules for that. Now there's a
Why
red
wouldn't they
gate. Now
bring
there
up the red gate before this?
that's what I'm
You
saying. Like the
fucking dick.
red gate, the rank levels, like that dude who's leading the party and was an
Everybody
A
knew what a
rank.
red gate was.
No, not everybody was an A rank.
No, I meant like almost everybody in that scene where the red gate appeared
Uh-huh.
knew that what a red gate meant,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the
Yeah, except
higher
us.
ups, except for like
I
the
was the
E
only
rank
one who
girl
entered in
or us,
that red gate that didn't
right?
know what was going on. I was like,
But you got to think too. I was thinking, I was like, even Jinwoo was an E rank at one point and still knew what a red gate was.
right, he
He
sure
didn't.
did.
It didn't take him to be reawakened to know what
Also,
that was.
those ice elves that were shooting at them niggas real quick, he knew immediately what those were. Dude, when you were an E
We
rank,
don't want to fuck with those niggas.
you're telling me you were an E
You knew,
rank and you were fucking with them? Get
like
the fuck out of here.
you knew
You
not to
didn't
fuck with an
know.
ice elf.
Okay. All right, dude. You
When
weren't
did he
fucking with ice elf.
ever?
Nobody brought you along for an ice elf raid, nigga. Like, let's stop playing games here. I
Plus,
saw
ice
old
elves don't
you.
fuck around. They kill E ranks like fucking
Those
candy.
motherfuckers are wild, dude. Those motherfuckers are wild. But back to the original point is like they just kind of tell you things and keep it moving. And that's I will say the one aspect of the show I don't like. I
Yeah, you're
mean,
just gonna find
if
out
we're
shit.
we're trading it for action.
Kind of newer school anime.
Yeah, we're trading it for action, which
Yeah,
is fine.
it's
I'm
fast
good.
paced.
I'm good with it.
Fast
I'm just
paced.
saying, like, is like since we're picking splitting hairs here.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh Jesus, my eyes went crossed a little bit. I'm pretty sure they rolled back. I can't
Yeah,
wait to watch this
we
back to
saw.
see if they actually
Oh, we're gonna roll it
flipped
back again.
around. Um,
It's gonna be.
but it's like if I'm splitting hairs, I would like to see that more explained. I guess that's the problem. You only have so many minutes in an episode,
Mhm.
and I want them to keep everything the same and just add stuff in. You know what I mean?
Add little explanations in.
Yeah, like I don't want that to take anything away from it. I
Mm.
just want you to add more. So I think I got this figured out. We just got to start doing our episodes of solo
Like
leveling.
it would have been really cool for them to explain why a red gate happens. Like it just they were just like, oh no, a red gate.
I think they just said it just fucking happens. They're like
Yeah.
a red gate now? Why? Like, I'm
But
sorry.
then they
Is there
called like major forces to come there, and then they just didn't. They're like, "Oh my god, it's a red gate."
well, and that's what I
And
thought. Well,
I was like, "Well, why did you call them there? What
I thought that
is that
originally.
S rank just gonna sit outside?"
So I thought that originally when they called, like they're like, oh, he was like, hey, call the strike team, call your main strike team. We got a fucking red gate. And I was like, well, if no one can get in or get out,
What the fuck are you gonna
why would
do?
we call them? And then I thought about it and it made a little more sense. So in it, he said that there's random breaks
Oh,
in the thing.
so
So
they
what
just
I'm
gotta wait.
assuming is they just stand there and wait so that way you don't have to potentially miss the random break if that happens so they can get in there and help
And it'll
out.
happen. If they
So
said
I'm
that, it'll
assuming
happen.
I think Jinwoo's gonna defeat the boss. I don't think that it's gonna be a
I mean,
random break.
he's doing pretty well so far.
I mean, what we're down 59 bears. Like obviously they don't care
So
about ecosystems
I
and
was
solo
waiting,
leveling.
but I was waiting to bring this up to you. How is it? So I do want to circle back to the girl that he brought in there and kind of her plot and reasoning behind that. We're still
Yeah.
kind of like unknown on what the whole situation is there with outside of that principal talking to him about her, which
Like what do you mean we're unknown as to why
like
she wants to be a hunter? What's
well no,
driving her
yeah, like
or
big what the big overall plot is with her, because is it just trying to convince her to not be a hunter, or does she play a bigger role in the future? You know what I
gotcha.
mean?
So
So
you're
we're
just
still
saying what's unknown
unclear
is what she means to the show.
to the show and the plot.
Gotcha.
Is it just a
Okay.
moment for her, or is she
Right.
going to have some impact going forward? So we'll circle back to that. But what I'm very curious to see is
I will say I I think we can
damn
assume the
it.
girl's important to the plot, right? Somehow,
Yeah.
some way. Like she knew the sister.
Yeah, we
She
know that.
awakened late. Like she was a late bloomer. Like she keeps coming showing up in
I
episodes. There's got to be some importance to her.
I think the girl who asked him to talk to her
The
was
teacher?
the principal, their teacher, whoever.
Yeah.
It's her mother.
You think so?
I think it's her mother, and she just doesn't want her to die, and like she's an E
I
rank,
mean,
so like
that's
you're
possible.
like I don't
That's
need you out
definitely a
there.
possible explanation.
But
I honestly haven't cared enough to think about why the principal wanted to interject or the teacher or whatever she is. I think it's the teacher.
right,
But I don't think I've cared enough to understand why she'd want to interject.
but
I was like,
again,
she's clearly important.
I mean, how widespread it is
Jesus, dude, you
that
are struggling today.
it's more of like trying to figure out how to explain this part. It's like, how does no one know that he has incredible ability by now? Like, there's only a few select people who understand that he's not an E rank anymore, and it's like this dude's walking around like a fucking powerhouse.
Well, I actually like that about this show because
It's too
any
obvious.
what I'm saying, let me finish. Let me finish. All right. What I'm saying is like I like about the show because although like it's not like showing that it's spreading out, like people are whispering about him, but anybody who comes into anywhere, any kind of contact with him at all is like
Immediately
you're
finds out.
clearly not an E rank,
Yeah,
which I do like about the show. They're not playing stupid. They're not like, oh,
yeah.
this dude's really strong for an E rank. Everybody's like, what the fuck, man? Are you a false ranker? What the fuck, man? Did you reawaken? Like there's all these different like, but not one person since he's had this thing has been like, oh yeah, dude, you're pretty strong for a freaking E rank. Everybody's like, you're full of shit, dude. What's the real story?
Yeah, what happened to you? And I will say another great unknown, which I can't wait, is for that dude, the fucking Rico Suave dude with the sunglasses, who pulled up to the red gate and who just pulled into Japan or whatever from them calling him or whatever the case may be. The tight red shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
That dude, I don't remember his name, but
Dung So or
yeah,
Dung Su
something
or
like
something
that. And
something
he's an
along
A
those lines
rank or
where
maybe
he
he's an
killed the
S
brother.
rank.
He's an S rank.
S rank. So he pulled up and was like, "Where's this jinwoo at? Where like I want to see who jinwoo is or what like how good he is, how he can fight and shit like that." Like he was hyped joining but he made a specific reference to jinwoo. So I do wonder who he heard about jinwoo from
Do
and
you do you
kind
not
of how he's
remember?
going to challenge him. I don't.
He's the brother of a guy Jinwoo killed. You
Oh,
remember?
the douchebag?
Yeah, remember when they him and the rich boy?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Jin Jin
June's.
Jun Oh
What
my
is his
god, that
name?
one.
I'm not.
Jinho, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jinho?
yeah, something like that. Anyways, I don't know why I can't think of his name.
I think it's Jinho
All right, we'll go with that. So he when they got into that party
or
and they
Jin.
were mining the crystal
Go ahead.
and they were mining the crystal,
Mhm.
they would that's when those dudes were like, "Hey, we're gonna leave you here to die," pretty much,
Yeah, the
and they tried
douchebag.
to kill him. The leader
The
of that
leader of that guy was his brother.
was his brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's funny because as I was watching it, and I was watching it going on, I didn't take any notes because I was like, if I can't remember one episode, then there's a real problem here.
Yeah.
But I remember as I was watching it, I was like, Sergio's not gonna remember who this dude is. I knew it. I was like, he's not
Yeah,
gonna
no,
remember
I
where
don't
this
remember
dude
the
is.
scene. I don't remember the scene where that he was like, "You
I just
killed
have
my brother."
slowly I mean, we talk about a lot of animes here. I've slowly been able to pick up on things you key on and things you don't key on.
How many times did you watch season 1?
How many times did I watch season one? Just twice.
Just twice.
Yeah, just twice. Yeah, I didn't watch season one a lot on this one
Yeah.
because it just the new season wasn't close enough. I didn't want
That's
to
what I'm
keep
saying.
hyping
Like
myself up.
I only watched the last episode of season 1 and then like
Oh, I
resurfaced
didn't
back
rewatch
to
it at all. Yeah, or
yeah, I
not
still didn't remember
like
that guy though.
close. I definitely rewatched it once since it's come out, but it's been like months since I've rewatched it.
Yeah, I don't remember that guy going like getting mad hearing that his brother died and was like,
Yeah,
"I'm gonna kill Jinwoo" or anything
yeah.
like that.
Also, does it feel like it's been a year since this last
Yeah,
season?
yeah, because every other show they wait 2 to 3 years. I was like, Solo
Like,
Leveling's about to come out again.
yeah, like it. I feel like it was even quicker than a year. I might be crazy. I might be making that up, but it feels like it might be quicker than a year. And if that's the case, what the fuck are the rest of you guys doing? Some of you guys are waiting 5 years before new seasons come out, and they're doing it in less than a year. Let's get our shit together, anime. What the fuck are we doing?
There's only a few fucking studios, so
Yeah, well, pay them more and give me the shows I like. All right? Because I want to keep watching those. What the fuck are we doing here? Let's put our money in the money shows.
yeah. What's your biggest
Yada I mean.
mystery? What do you think is the biggest mystery to this show so far? What do you really want
To
to
the
know?
show or just off of like just
This
as a
to Solo
whole?
Leveling to the show.
Go ahead and go. I'll think of something right now. Go ahead and go with yours.
Um, well, my biggest mystery has got to be like that island. You remember the
Oh yeah,
island
where
that they
they're
went
talking
to?
about the island and they went
And that
back and
red
they
hair
haven't
nigga,
showed us the true result,
he
like
came back.
or what the
That
deal
red
is.
nigga came back, but he said, "Yo, they are better, they're stronger," and he's just like, in this episode, he's like, "They're
Yeah, he was
better,
like
they're
they're
stronger,
flying.
and they're
They got
flying."
wings now. They got wings
Yeah,
now.
so he's like, "It's gonna
Yeah,
be a matter of time before they come back." So I'm wondering what the fuck, because
is
obviously
going on at
that's
that
got to be
motherfucking
it,
island. It's
right?
got to
Like
be a big deal.
it's
Yeah,
got to be what
I think that's where they said the first gate came out. I might be making that up.
maybe.
But
Why didn't you just make that up?
well, it
You
could
just
be
thought of
true.
that now?
Could be true. I think I heard it, but I
You
don't
think
like
you
have
heard
a
it?
I don't have a solid
Where?
memory in the show. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could also be lying. You know, I mean, it's a toss up, right? So my biggest question is, what's the point of the gods or whatever systems controlling him and giving him the task? Not who are they. I don't care too
So
much
what's the
about who it
system?
is or what it is. I'm more concerned with why did they pick him and what's their goal here? Is this system the gods? Is their
But
goal
isn't
for
who
him to
they are having to do with why they picked him?
everything has to do with everything.
So
But
then why would you not care?
what I care
Why would
about
you say that you
is
didn't care
why
about
they're
that?
having.
Just say what you focused on.
Why? That's what I'm saying. Why? The why. That's what I want to know. I don't
But
know
you
why this
outlawed
bothers you
that. You're
so
like, I
much.
don't care what they
I
are
don't. I
or
don't
who
I don't
they
give a fuck.
are,
You could
but
be
I do
like
care about why they chose
you
him.
could
And
be
I'm
like
like, well, doesn't what they are and who they are play a role into why they chose him?
everything
And you're
plays a
like,
role into
well, of course
everything.
it does.
I don't
What the
doesn't mean I
fuck?
have to care about it. That
Yeah, but
aspect of
how
it.
can you
There's a whole
not?
bunch of different
If
aspects
it
of it.
plays a role, how can you not?
You cannot.
How?
Just like right now.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
I just
explain
don't
how.
care.
I just don't. I don't know
That
how
doesn't make any
how I
sense.
can describe
So you
not
just do and just say you don't.
no, I don't care.
You do care,
I
but
don't
you
care.
say you
They
don't
could
care.
so let me put it this way. They could never show me who they are.
The system in Solo Leveling,
Yeah,
the
they could
fucking
never
game that keeps popping up to
right.
for anybody who's lost now, it's the game that keeps popping up to jinwoo,
All
the
right.
screen.
If you're watching this episode and you don't know that, you shouldn't be watching this episode. Go back and watch the goddamn show.
I'm just clarifying.
With that being said, if they never reveal who that is, like who's the system, like if it's gods or if it's something else, it wouldn't bother me even a little bit
That's crazy.
because I only care
That's
about the
crazy.
why. I think that was the best way to explain it.
Because you couldn't even learn why without knowing who.
Yes, you could.
How?
You could be like this group of whatever. You could be
Yeah,
like
this group
somebody.
of whatever?
Yeah, you could
No,
be like
you could not
somebody.
say that.
You could be like,
You
are you
couldn't
gonna let
say
me finish? Are you gonna let
you
me
can't
finish?
say that.
Are you gonna let me finish? Can I finish? Can I
But
fucking
that's the
finish?
question is why?
Not that. Not
That
that
is
the
the
question isn't
question.
who, it's why. My question is why.
Yeah,
You're
but
saying
my
I'm telling you
question
how I separate
we're
it.
debating what my
No,
question is
I'm
though.
telling you this is how I separate it because that's what you were asking me about. You're
Right.
like, how do you separate that? I'm telling you how right
And I'm
now.
saying you cannot separate it.
I'm explaining to you how you can.
No, you cannot.
You can't just tell me. Let me explain to you how you can.
You're not
You're not even
explaining
willing
it.
to listen
You're not
because you
explaining
keep
it.
cutting me off.
Go ahead.
All right. Now, they could literally just be like the system, right? Because let's just call it the system for now, because we really don't know what it is, but we call it a system, right? So all I care about is they tell me the system wants you to destroy this world because their world is next, or because the system's world is next, or the
It's
system this,
favoring what
system that.
his situation is, right?
So all I care about is they tell me why the system picked him or what they need him to do. One of those two. Like if they answer one of those two, I'm good.
Right.
They don't need to tell me who the system is, who's controlling the system, none of that. As long as they tell me that, I'm fine. Now, I am sure they will reveal who they are, and I'm sure who they are has a lot to do with that. I'm saying that I focus on the why because if I could not find out who they are, and I would not give a fuck. I would only care about the why.
Yeah, and it's one thing to say you could hear who they are or what they are and not give a fuck and just know, okay, well, I don't care who or why,
I
but
don't need to
then
hear.
I know why you picked him. So I get that. You want to focus more or you care more about like why they picked jinwoo versus who the fuck they are or
Yeah. So you're agreeing with
why
what
they're
I'm
doing
saying?
what they're doing. But no, you're missing still what I'm trying to say, which is why are you saying that you cannot why are you saying that you can explain why they picked him without
Because you
even
can.
how could someone explain why they pick someone without explaining who they are?
Why or how can someone explain?
How
Is that
can
what you're
someone explain to you? So let's just imagination, right? This is imaginary world in
okay?
solo leveling. So the system finally explains why they picked Jinwoo. How could a system do that without explaining who they are?
Gotcha. Now, I think I have an answer for you. All right. This is just an example. I'm sure there are other ways. I'm sure there are better ways. I'm sure there are worse ways. But this is
Mhm.
the only way I can think of on the spot here in the moment.
Mhm.
right? Jinwoo, he enters a room, a door, wherever. Place him wherever you like. Jinwoo's in a room, and he's asking himself, I wonder why the system chose me. Why am I the one to do this?
Why?
What? Yeah.
Why?
Why? Right?
Why am I the one?
The system, then there's multiple options here. Sends him a message through his
The
face thing.
system,
Yeah, through the
the
system.
interface.
The interface. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Not the exact word, but that's what I was talking about. They send him a message through the interface. It's because you were always the one. Or we
What?
because
That's whack.
because you're the one to this is that. You could call it whack. You could
That's
call it whatever you want.
whack.
I'm not saying it's good. I just told you before I started this, there could be better options, there could be worse options. What I'm telling you is that adequately is a way
That's
the
not
system
adequate.
could tell him.
That is not
It
adequate.
answers the question, does it not?
No,
It answers the question.
we
That's a
picked
way
you.
the system could tell him that you were chosen without revealing who they are.
We picked you.
It was always going to be you had the most potential. Let's say they say that. All right. I'm not saying a specific
Potential
set of
for what?
words. They could just say, "Hey, you had the highest potential to reach to a bigger level because you started from the lowest point." Remember, they called him the weakest hunter, right? That was his nickname, the weakest hunter in history. So it could have been like, because you started from the lowest, you have the potential to be the highest.
So
And
you want to
that's why
hear
you were
that
chosen.
he's Naruto? Is that what you want to hear?
That I'm answering your question. That's a way the system could tell him
It's
why he
not a
was
way.
chosen
He enters a
without
room.
revealing himself.
He enters a room screaming, "Why?" And then
He
the
doesn't have
system
to enter a
pops
room.
up.
You're
The
getting caught up
interface
on the
pops up.
very, very specifics.
That is what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking for is how
Now
could they
let's chill it
explain?
down. I just explained it to you how they could explain.
He walks
You're just
into a
saying it's
room.
not satisfying, but
No,
it
I'm saying it's
explains
not
it.
adequate.
It
He
explains it,
walks into
doesn't
the
it?
room. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. It explains
No,
why
it
he got
doesn't.
picked.
Because the
It could
interface
explain.
pops up and says it has to be you
It
because you
gives
were
him
the
the reason.
weakest.
I'm not saying the script has to be exactly that. They could go
Right.
into a
You're just
detailed
saying
thing.
no,
I'm just saying
that's
that's a
important
way he could find out.
because details matter.
Oh my god. It
Details
matters
matter.
for it matters to like make it better. It matters to make it good. I said before I started this, I go, I'm not saying this is the best way. I'm sure there's better
It's not a
ways.
way.
I'm sure there's worse ways. But
Not
this is
even
a
a
way
way.
to adequately explain it.
That's not
That's
an
what I was
adequate
saying,
explanation.
and that's an answer, and it's a damn good one
That's a
on the
horrible
spot. Are you
answer.
fucking kidding me?
That's a
Good
horrible
lord.
answer.
Oh, this is why you can't talk to people, guys. I'm talking to the crowd now. That's
It's
why
all
you
right.
can't
You could
talk
be
to
upset.
people about
It's okay.
anime with low
I asked you to
intelligence.
explain
All
it,
right?
and now you're upset.
Because they just don't get things.
You're mad because I asked you to
It's
explain
all
it.
right.
I get it. I get it. No, but what I would want them to do, which is a great point, right? How are they gonna bring this up? I would want them to bring it up in a moment where he finally faces the true boss, right? Because we don't know who the true boss is, right? We don't know who the true villain to this
Mm-hmm.
show is yet. So once he finally meets that true villain, then that's when I want the interface to pop up and be like, this nigga killed my mother. This is why we
Real
chose
quick, I
you.
have to point out something super funny you just did. And I didn't want to cook your run there because I knew you had something like right there in your head. And
Mhm,
I was like, I'm gonna let him get it out. Before you finish your thought, you said
mhm.
this is a good point. So before you finish stating what that point was, you were like, and you know what? This is gonna happen, and that's a good point. And then you finish it. I was like, is that the good point he was talking about? Because no one brought up any good points before that. So
No,
like in the middle of it,
by the point that I was
I
telling
know
you,
what
I
you
meant
actually meant.
what you were talking about
Yeah, I
in
know what you
regards to
actually meant,
the
but it was
atmosphere of
funny
what
because of the way it comes out
yeah,
when you
the way I
realized it.
explained it. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I get it. But
I don't think he
that's
does,
how I would
guys.
want the
Low
system to
intelligence.
get it. That's
That's
how I
how
would
you.
want them to do it.
Yeah, I don't know what I actually want them to do.
I feel like that'd be
I
dope.
was just saying it was possible to do it that way. It'd be stupid. It'd be
It'd be
dumb. It'd be really shitty way to explain
but
something.
why would you only care about that?
So I don't know, man. I
Why
can't
would
help
you
what I care
not care
about.
about who the system is?
It doesn't bother me at
That
all. It
makes
doesn't affect
no
me.
sense.
To you, I'm sure there are other people here who agree with me.
Yeah, that just don't care
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
interface is
Yeah,
and
it's
why it keeps
different,
popping
man.
up.
You can want what you want. I'll want what I want,
Yeah,
man.
majority definitely
Some
don't
people
want
like
to
ice
know.
cream. Some people like cookies.
My
I'm
bad.
not even saying I'm in the majority.
My
I'm just
bad, man.
saying I like fucking cookies. You like fucking ice cream. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We can both enjoy it. I'm not
Yeah,
over here eating my cookies saying you can't eat ice cream because
yeah.
cookies are the shit.
Well, and back to my point about people realizing shit. It was funny to see that one green-eyed bitch realize real quick that that nigga was different when he caught that ice arrow and
Dude, she
saved
caught
her.
that
She was like,
quick.
"You just caught an ice arrow.
This nigga
I'm going
different.
with you."
This nigga different.
This
She's
nigga
like,
is
can
a
I
different
go?
one.
And then even the guy, remember the guy realized he was like, why did I just assume he was the leader?
Right. Yeah. I
I was like, cause that's Jin Woo. That's
They got a
Jin
real
Daddy Woo.
the whole corpse or whatever you want to call it, the hunter corpse, whatever you want to
Uh-huh.
call it. They're really coming off as dicks right now. Every
All
single
of them.
higher rank that he
Every
runs
time.
into, pieces of shit.
I actually had that thought
Because you remember
as
when
I
his
was
eyes
watching
got
it.
big, when
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, "We should split up." He's like, "This nigga again." He's like,
Yeah.
"Another one. Another
Yeah.
one's a piece
Always
of
trying to
shit."
fuck people. Yep.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that. I was like, do only bad people become hunters? Like, I'm glad Joohee fucking got out of there
yeah. She's like, "Fuck
because
this
she
shit."
deserves so much better.
She's like, "Fuck this shit. You
All
guys
these
are
dudes
fucking
suck,
dicks."
dude. All
Yeah,
these dudes suck.
that's why she was always over there healing him because she's like, "You're cool."
Yeah. Also, I caught a thought. Remind me to tell you afterwards, but I caught a thought that was so wild. I couldn't say it on air. Like I couldn't
I
say
will
it in the
try to
recording.
remember.
Try to remember. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts on this first episode before we wrap this bitch
No,
up?
absolutely phenomenal. It was cool to finally see him use his army.
Oh
I think we
yeah.
didn't really touch on that. So,
Yeah.
seeing Egress and also hearing him at the end be like, "If you had your sword, you probably would have fucking killed me."
Yeah, I would have been dead for sure, dog.
Yeah, he's like, I never saw you get down with a sword like that."
Yeah,
So,
also I
and it
didn't
was good to
like
see a penalty real
yeah.
quick with how he had to use mana crystals to
Yeah.
have the army because that's what I was worried about. Where it's like, is he gonna be able to summon this army at any
At
point in
will
time
with
at
no
will with no
yeah.
repercussions? And I'm glad they made it a fucking point to tell the audience, hey,
Yeah, and
this is gonna come at a cost.
I think they mentioned something about it. The problem is I watch so many animes that from time to time I get them confused a little bit because this isn't the only anime where he's able to like summon people, right?
Hmm.
So I feel like they did mention at some point when he changed his job and he like got control of shadows. I'm pretty sure in that first season they mentioned that he was like, "Oh, I got to get my mana up because right now my mana's super low and I won't be able to summon all these people."
Are you
Right?
sure?
I'm not, but I'm pretty sure. My problem is I think I remember it, but I might be thinking of a different anime.
Oh,
And
well,
so that's but I think they at least mentioned, like he at least mentioned getting that mana game up.
that mana.
Mana. Yeah, that mana game up. But guys, we're gonna cover this episode again. We're gonna cover the first six
Yes, we will
episodes.
have one with the first
So
six.
we're just kind of getting back into it. We really, really, really wanted to touch on this first episode because it was so goddamn fucking good.
It was.
And we knew it was gonna spark some good conversation between us two.
Yeah.
And apparently a
What are
fucking 10-minute
what are your
argument.
hopes for the season? What do you hope that before we get out? What do you hope that we find out?
Oh,
You got to
so
have
this is
something there.
something I will say. This is something I did start doing. I started looking at the name of the season, if they named the season,
Hmm.
and trying to guess what's gonna happen based on the name. And
Hmm.
this one is it's season 2, A Rise from the Shadows, I believe,
Hmm.
or something along those lines. And I think this is gonna be the season where people realize, like, he actually comes out is like an S rank, and everybody knows how
Who
strong
he
he
is.
is. Yeah.
He becomes a public figure.
Yeah, I think that's what the arise from the shadows means.
I do what I hope happens. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But what I hope happens is they finally give out who's that nigga that he's got to fight. Like who's that ultimate boss? Who's Frieza? Who's Cell? Who's Pooh?
Oh,
You
interesting.
know what I
Like
mean? Like
who's that
who's
main bad
Aizen?
guy they're
Who's
working toward?
Right. Who's that
Now,
nigga?
before we get out of here, I do have a question. Would you rather it be one main bad guy that he fights like at the end of the series, not the season, but the actual end of Solo Leveling? And then this bad guy is just around all the time and creates different obstacles for him, like different other bad guys, and he's fighting other bad guys in different seasons? Or would you prefer this one main bad guy to like be just this season and then a different bad guy each season?
I want there to be one ultimate one that he ends up fighting simply
Uh-huh.
because I want it to be connected to his mother.
So kind of like okay, so kind of like
I
how
want
Bleach
yeah,
always
I
had
want
Aizen, and there
right,
are other little things he had
right.
to other little
Little
arcs,
bosses.
or like Demon
Like
Slayer with Muzan, and
right,
he
because
has the upper ranks that he's fighting in each season.
yeah, and just like Ice Elf, we saw the Ice Elf King
Yeah,
guy, we
uh
saw
huh.
a glimpse of him.
So you'd
So
prefer it to be something like that?
we just saw the Bear King come out and
Interesting.
fight Egress. So like obviously have those little guys on the side, but to see that one ultimate guy who has a deeper connection to him. Like I want that dude to have a personal conflict with him in some way, shape, or
Interesting.
form. Like maybe he was the guy who got her sick for whatever reason. I
Yeah,
don't. They still
or
haven't
like he's a
explained shit
dad,
there.
and
Or
it's
he's
like a
yeah,
it's
like
like
something crazy
a Guardians of the Galaxy situation where the dad gave the mom
with the dad,
cancer,
the
or the
dad
dad gave the mom
cancer.
cancer. Side note, real quick, guys, I say that only because that's how my daughter says my name. She'll
Dad,
go, Dad,
dad.
Dad, what are you doing?
We're the
Dad.
dad.
And I'm always making fun of her. So she'll be like, Dad, and I'll be like, Dad. And now
Oh,
it
we're the
slips
dad.
out. Yeah, now it slips out because I make fun of her so much.
Yeah. No, but
Oh man.
that was a good reference to the dad giving the mom cancer and like acting like that
Yeah.
was a normal thing to do or
Yeah,
the
he's like,
right
"Oh
thing
yeah, I
to do.
just, I
Yeah,
I
she
couldn't
needed to
spend
die.
yeah, she needed to die. I can't spend all my time with her. And she's
Yeah.
asking me for shit. Can't have that. Fucking cancer. There you go. Boom.
Problem solved.
There we go. Like fuck,
Uh,
man.
yeah, so I do hope that they connect that final villain to that, but
Yeah.
that'll be down the road. This season, I just think they're gonna introduce him, and I think it's gonna be a result of that island
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit like that. So we'll see.
Yeah. But all right, guys. We appreciate every single fucking one of you. We are happy to be
We're
back. As
back.
always,
We are
like,
back.
subscribe, comment,
Comment.
comment, comment. A real
Hmm.
friend tells a friend.
Yes. Yes. A real friend does. Again, you know, all the people who are starting to like and consistently watch and consistently
We
comment, we see
appreciate you
you
guys
guys.
so
We
fucking
see you,
much.
we see you, we see you, and we want you to continue. So, thank
All
you
right,
guys for
guys.
that. And we also got Oshinoko, we got
Oh, we got a whole
um
bunch of good ones. Blue
Shangri
Lock,
La, we got Blue Lock, we got uh
Dr. Stone's coming
Doctor
out this
Stone. We got
season.
another Bleach, I believe,
Yep,
coming
we
up
got Bleach
somewhat
season
soon. We got
3.
yeah, Doctor Stone was a good one to throw in there.
God, man, we
We
got
got
a lot
Food
of good
Wars.
shit
We
coming
got
out
Chainsaw Man. We
this
still got to
year.
cover. We got Vinland Saga. We still got to cover. So guys, keep tuning in. Those were just some things that we are gonna consistently start
Yes.
hitting again. So
Yes, sir. All right, guys. It's
all right,
Comedy Hashira.
Blackie Chan,
We out.
deuces.